I also think that like the value of a college education is somewhat overweighted.
Overweighted. Something that is considered to be more important or more burdensome than it actually is. It's above what is required or expected. Example: the value of college education is somewhat overrated. Many people place too much emphasis on it.
I also think that like the value of a college education is somewhat overweighted. And I think it's too many people actually spend 4 years, accumulate a ton of debt.
Accumulate, to gather or collect over time. Example: after years of saving, she managed to accumulate a small fortune. A ton of debt, a very large amount of money owed to others, often because of loans. Example: after finishing college, he had a ton of debt to pay off from student loans.
And I think it's too many people actually spend 4 years, accumulate a ton of debt, and then often don't have useful skills that they can apply afterwards.
Apply, to use or put something into practice. Example: he learned programming in college and he was able to apply those skills to his first job.
And then often don't have useful skills that they can apply afterwards. I think I have a lot of respect for people who work with their hands.
Respect, admiration, or a feeling of high regard for someone or something. Example: I have great respect for teachers who dedicate their lives to education.
I think I have a lot of respect for people who work with their hands, and we need electricians and plumbers and carpenters.
Electrician, a person who installs and repairs electrical systems. Example: the electrician fixed the wiring in our house after the storm. Plumber, a person who installs and repairs pipes and water systems. Example: we called a plumber to fix the leaking sink. Carpenter, a person who makes or repairs wooden structures. Example: a carpenter built the wooden shelves in our kitchen.
We need electricians and plumbers and carpenters, and that's a lot more important than having incremental political science majors.
Incremental, small and gradual. Example: the project showed incremental progress over 6 months.
And that's a lot more important than having incremental political science majors, I think. I think we should not have this idea that to be successful you need to have a 4-year college. That is simply not true.
That was the summer of '95. I had no money whatsoever. I was working, doing research in Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, a part of California which is known as a center of computer industry and high-tech innovation and companies. Many important inventions were discovered in this area, and many large and small companies producing computer software and hardware are based there. Example: many tech companies are headquartered in Silicon Valley, like Apple and Google.
I was working, doing research in Silicon Valley on a completely different subject and trying to start this company at the same time. And when it came time to decide, do I want to do graduate studies or do I want to start this company, and I decided to start the company, I had no money. As a graduate student, I would have received a scholarship and a stipend.
Scholarship, financial aid awarded to a student based on academic or other achievements. Example: She earned a full scholarship to study abroad. Stipend, a fixed, regular payment, usually as financial support for education. Example, the internship provides a monthly stipend for living expenses.
I would have received a scholarship and a stipend and so forth. In starting the company, I had nothing. I had no income source.
Income, the money that someone earns regularly from work or investment. Example, after losing his job, he struggled to find a new source of income.
I had nothing. I had no income source. So we found that an office was actually cheaper than an apartment in Silicon Valley. So we got this dinky little office that had a leaky roof.
Dinky, too small and often not very nice. Example, the apartment was dinky with barely enough room for a bed and desk. Leaky, allowing liquid to escape through a hole or crack. Example, we had to fix the leaky roof before the rainy season.
So we got this dinky little office that had a leaky roof. It was just the nastiest place you can imagine.
Nasty, unpleasant. Example, the food had a nasty smell and we couldn't eat it.
It was just the nastiest place you can imagine.
And you lived in it too?
And I lived in it too and showered at the YMCA.
YMCA, the short form of Young Men's Christian Association, an organization in many countries that provides places to stay and sport activities for young people. Example, I have made so many friends through the YMCA's fitness classes.
And I lived in it too and showered at the YMCA. This lasted for about 3 or 4 months.
SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and Boring Company are philanthropy.
Philanthropy, the practice of giving help to people in trouble, often through donations or charitable actions. Example, his philanthropy helped build schools and hospitals in developing countries.
If you say philanthropy is love of humanity, they are philanthropy. Tesla is accelerating sustainable energy.
Accelerate, to make something go faster or to speed up a process. Example, the government is working to accelerate the development of renewable energy. Sustainable, able to be maintained or continued without harming the environment. Example, using solar power is a sustainable way to generate electricity.
Tesla is accelerating sustainable energy. This is a love of philanthropy. SpaceX is trying to ensure the long-term survival of humanity with multi-planet species. This is love of humanity.
Multi-planet species refers to a species like humans that lives on more than one planet. Example, Elon Musk dreams of making humans a multi-planet species.
SpaceX is trying to ensure the long-term survival of humanity with multi-planet species. This is love of humanity. Neuralink is to help solve brain injuries and existential risk with AI. Love of humanity.
Solve, find an answer to a problem or challenge. Example, the engineer worked tirelessly to solve the technical problem. Existential, relating to human existence, especially the challenges or risks that threaten life. Example, climate change is an existential risk to our planet's future.
Neuralink is to help solve brain injuries and existential risk with AI. Love of humanity. Boring Company is trying to solve traffic, which is hell for most people, and that also is love
Right.
of humanity. If you care about the reality of goodness instead of the perception of it, philanthropy is extremely difficult.
What took your family to South Africa?
My grandfather moved with all his kids and my mom and everyone to South Africa because he wanted to use it as a base of exploration.
Exploration, the action of traveling to discover new places. Example, the hikers began their exploration of the mountain trail at sunrise.
My grandfather moved with all his kids and my mom and everyone to South Africa because he wanted to use it as a base of exploration. So he had this little plane that he liked to fly all over the place, and he flew it all through Africa and Asia, and he was the first person to fly from South Africa to Australia. And he did this in a plane with no electronic instruments.
Instruments, tools or devices for a particular purpose, especially navigation or music. Example, the pilot relied on the plane's instruments to navigate.
And he did this in a plane with no electronic instruments. And in some places they had diesel, in some places they had gasoline, and he had to rebuild the engine according to whatever fuel they had. So it's lucky he survived on that one. But he was sort of an amateur archaeologist.
Amateur, a beginner often in a particular field or activity. Example, although she was an amateur painter, her work was impressive. Archaeologist, a person who studies human history and prehistory. Example, the archaeologist discovered ancient tools buried deep in the ground.
But he was sort of an amateur archaeologist. He liked to explore things.
Just for exploration, just a quest
Yeah.
for curiosity. Seems
Yeah.
to run in the family.
Yeah, I guess so.
These words from Elon Musk's speeches can expand your vocabulary and inspire you to think big. Remember, the best way to expand your vocabulary is to keep using new words in your daily life. So, which word from today's video did you find most useful? Drop your answers in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more vocabulary lessons. See you in the next video.